Luckily, we had pretty happy childhood as we grew up in Beijing. Even though there were a lot of political turmoil, my family luckily escaped most of the politics, and we had very good memories of Beijing back then. Even though we didn't have a lot of food, we didn't have a lot of luxury, we had a good time. In 1986, I graduated from college in Beijing with an English degree. I was assigned a job to teach English in Beijing, and that was a job I was supposed to do for the rest of my life, repeating the same lessons every day. At the age of 22, I was thinking there must be something more than teaching the same class every day. I have a degree in English. I can speak the language. Why don't I try to get to America? In 1988, I was accepted into a college, into a master's program. And that's when my family, everybody, uncles, aunts, cousins, everybody chipped in and put their money together and bought me a one-way flight ticket to America. It was a real shock for me when I arrived there. Usually, when I lived in China, I go to a store, I put my money on the counter and ask for, say, a toothpaste. There's only one kind, there's no questions, that's what I get. The first time I walked into a big supermarket in America, I was overwhelmed by a whole shelf full of different kinds of toothpaste. When I came back from America thinking there's got to be something I can do, and I approached ABC America, the bureau manager at that time said, go home and listen to radio. If you start to hear martial music, come into work. And that's when Deng Xiaoping was about to die. So in February, sure enough, Deng Xiaoping died, the paramount leader of China who had ruled China for all these years. Died, and that was big news from China. So I started my journalist career from there. There are advantages and disadvantages to be a Chinese person working as a foreign journalist. The official point of view, they see me as part of the Chinese family, which is good and bad. On one hand, they would say, come on, you're Chinese. You know how it is, hoping that I would take their side and not to be too critical. But among my friends, even though they don't tell me in my face that I'm a traitor, I can tell sometimes they react in a very cynical way when I talk about human rights and justice. They don't seem to want to be reminded that they're missing something. I do care very much because China is my home. It's a place I call home. And that's where my heart is, because that's where my family is. I care very much where China goes from here. I will sign petitions to free political prisoners because I have that privilege to live in freedom and to live in a free world where I don't have to suffer consequences. But I am frustrated that there's very little I can do to help my friends back in China. I could feel that everybody still lives in fear, even though they have a lot of cash to spend. I will be very proud and I'll be very happy one day when all my middle-class friends can freely speak their mind and can speak the truth without being afraid that there might be consequences.